Election 2011 coverage on Manx Radio.
This morning we concentrate on the constituency of Rushen and a minister defending his MHK seat in Rushen. Philip Anderson-Gawne has been an MHK since 2003 when he won one of the three seats in a by-election. He was a commissioner before then, 46, I think that's right. Is he married, 2 children, set off as a trainee accountant and then became a self-employed stonewaller, assistant farm manager at Craignish for a while. Interspersed in there, of course, there was a spell in prison for arson in a nationalist campaign. He's been Minister of Agriculture before the structural tsunami last year when he took on the role of Infrastructure Minister. He's taken part regularly in the Iliam Doan ceremony on January the 2nd on Hango Hill. Good morning, Mr. Gawne.
Morning, my John.
Okay. Is there more than just a touch of the poacher still in there with the gamekeeper?
I suppose so, to a certain extent, but I think obviously what I've learned over my relatively short life compared with some of my colleagues is that if you want to actually achieve things, you need to work with people rather than fight against them. And that's certainly been the record that I believe I have, certainly over the last 5 years, actually working with colleagues to deliver what I've said I was going to deliver. If you look back at my manifesto, at the last election, I had actually made commitments in the manifesto, which indeed in itself is a fairly rare thing to do. And many, if not all, of those commitments have been delivered one way or another. But they've been delivered by working with people rather than fighting against them, by being prepared to make compromises, by being prepared to work with people to deliver most of what I want rather than all of what I want.
But do you think your appearances on Hango Hill jars with your job inside the administration, that people see that as you being sort of a bit, almost naive?
No, I don't think so at all. I think what we are perhaps lacking as a political group is appearances outside of our mainstream
By group, you mean the
political
Council of
setting.
Ministers?
Well, no, I think generally, Tynwald, politicians generally in the Isle of Man do not get out and talk politics in the way that we really need to. I think it's really important that we start communicating better with the public. I think despite some charges, particularly from Mr Cannon, this government has delivered quite a lot over the course of the last 5 years, which has been one of the most rocky 5-year periods that any government has had to face. And yet, in terms of the communication, we are still perhaps lagging behind a bit.
On Hango Hill, you were questioned and you were asked your priorities in life, and you cited husband and father first, then myself, and then a representative of the people.
Yes, I think that has to be the case, and certainly, going forward, my family is really important to me, and yes, of course, I want to do everything I possibly can to represent the people. That's why I'm standing for an election. If I was only interested in sort of self-advancement, then I wouldn't be standing. I really do stand for the public, for the election, because I want to do the best for the people of the Isle of Man.
Well, you, more than many other MHKs, have embraced modern technology. Your videos are all over YouTube, putting out various points. You cover things like Port St Mary's redevelopment, Port Erin, planning, etc., like that. Who are you trying to reach? Is this replacing the doorstep knocking?
No, it's doing a bit of both. I mean, I've been out knocking on doors now for some time. I've managed many of the rural parts in Arbury and Rushen, and also in Port Erin. But I think the videos add something. Overall, there's an hour's worth of videos that I have done, which, compared to reading leaflets, listening to worthy news broadcasts and reading the newspapers, I think that there is a group in society, particularly younger than me, that probably don't access the media in the same way. So yeah, let's get a different media out.
One of the subjects you cover is planning, in a particular area, Ballakillia. That's a large area, of course, which is developers would love to get their hands on. What do you say should happen to it?
Yes, I think it's not so much what I say, it's what the people in the area say. Russian commissioners and Port Erin commissioners have given a very definite thumbs down to any significant development on the site. We had a meeting, the planning department organised a meeting down there, public meeting. There were about 200 people turned up, and they were very, very strongly against significant development on the site.
But that is NIMBYism, isn't it? If you need houses down there, they have to be built somewhere.
Well, no, I don't think it is in this particular case. If you look at where the houses have been built around Port Erin, they've been built in people's backyards for many years. What we actually want is some sort of green belt around Port Erin. We don't actually want Port Erin to just keep developing out and swamping all the surrounding
You're an
villages.
advocate of filling in the gaps, aren't you, as far as housing is
Oh,
concerned?
absolutely, yes.
That's the phrase you've used.
I think that's absolutely important that we do that. And, I think we have to bear in mind what we actually need as we go forward as a government. It's very easy for us to sort of pander perhaps to the whims of the people who are developing the houses, but actually what we need to do is develop for the people who are going to live in them. We need to look at the communities we represent.
Just quickly, agriculture. Well, Minister, is agriculture going in the right direction?
It's
A couple of meat plants we look like having.
Clearly, if we follow the policy which Tynwald unanimously supported in April 2008, I think agriculture will go in the right direction. There have been some problems recently, primarily because we clearly don't have as much money as we had a few years ago. But
It's generally in the right direction.
But I would say so.
Final question, do you want to be Chief Minister?
I would love to be Chief Minister at some point, but as you
putting your name forward?
rightly pointed out, family comes first, and at the moment, certainly the next 5 years, I will be needed at home from time to time.
So you won't be putting your name forward?
And I certainly won't be putting my name forward as Chief Minister this time round.
Mr Gawne, thank you very much for joining us. Phil-Gawne, who's standing in the Rushen constituency on September the 29th. It's 8 o'clock.